If I'm spending 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with my kids, but I am overwhelmed, short-fused, and frustrated and burnt out, I am not going to be a pleasant mom.
I'm Yogi Patel with Jagged Edge, and today we're talking about the question most folks have. I'm a parent or I'm a caregiver. I have lots of ideas. How do I start my business? Well, we have Stephanie Farnaro today, and she has started her own business, and we're going to talk with her a bit. And before we get started, Stephanie, tell us a little bit about your background.
My name is Stephanie Farnaro. I am a mother of two. I have an 18-year-old daughter who's a senior graduating this month, and my son is 6 and he is graduating kindergarten. So a little bit of a gap there, but I have experienced raising my children in two very different seasons of my life. One being as a single mother, juggling motherhood, juggling career, and juggling college all at the same time. And with my son, where I am deep into my career, lots of many years of experience, and really looking for a role that is fulfilling and making me feel like what I do makes a difference in the lives of people in society. And I hired a nanny about 6 years ago. Through that experience, I found a need that wasn't prevalent, that wasn't available. And that is essentially just an agency that is predictable and without conflict of interest. So I created a agency that does exactly that supports parents so that they don't have to recruit, vet, qualify, and hire caregivers for their children alone, because it is a lot of work. And we go through parenting wearing many hats, and this is just one less hat that a parent has to wear in working with our agency. So I started Hello Nanny.
I think so. Everything begins from a journey or experience that we personally have, and it sort of fuels something within us to go to the next step. And I think lots of our listeners probably could relate to, I have this amazing idea, or people compliment me on my skill as doing this X, Y, and Z thing really well. How do I sort of take this to the next level? I understand your inspiration behind this and how you kind of got to start your own business. But how did you experience as a parent influence what you currently do and this decision? Because I think having that idea and putting into action there are a lot of steps in between. So tell us a little bit about how did you make that idea into a reality?
I was so accustomed to doing everything on my own, like the hyper independence, the hyper self-sufficiency. And oftentimes I would allow my pride to get in the way, where it was like, I don't need help. I can do this myself. And setting aside that mindset of it's okay to ask for help. So having been married and remarried, going into my second marriage, I knew that I wanted help from my husband and that I wanted to raise our child together, and I didn't want to feel like a single mom. But I also had expectations of my husband, who is also a business owner, to contribute in ways that he just didn't have the bandwidth to give. And so the solution to that was hiring a nanny. But being the prideful, self-sufficient, working woman that I was, it was like, I don't want someone else raising my child. I want us to do this. And so when I was able to set aside my pride and accept help, which incremental buy-ins, I accepted help from a mother's helper. And so I was like, well, it's just a mother's helper. So I did that. And then that mother's helper quickly evolved into our full-time nanny, in which at that point I thought, why didn't I do this sooner? And I really want to encourage moms to set aside their pride, get rid of the hyper independence, the self-sufficiency, get rid of the pride, and accept help. Because it made me a much happier wife, a better engaged mom. I wasn't spread thin. I wasn't short fused. I was really enjoying motherhood the second time around because I wasn't doing it all on my own.
So Stephanie, it sounds like you having the second child, you kind of had this experience and you knew what you did want, you didn't want. And then you were basically a little vulnerable in saying, you know what, I really can use some help. And that's really, really difficult for many of us, where we're like, we need to do it all. And then this, especially important for me, that women, there's so few of us, I mean, more than before, but few of us out there leading in companies, having positions where we're making a difference or we are using our fullest potential and being out there. Sometimes twofold. One, it's so important for me that we support other women. And, you know, we have many, many challenges that we face. But one of the most important thing is, how could we support one another rather than taking one another down or looking for faults and becoming so critical? And then that brings me to, I'm sure you went from having been a parent, doing everything hands-on, and now you're balancing parenting and responsibility with building this new company that you're founding through the experience that you had. What challenges came up for you and how did you overcome them? Because I think this really can set a stage for many of us who have the desire and who have the capacity, but then challenges happen and we sometimes need a little bit more to get through them.
I would say my husband has been my biggest cheerleader and also my inner voice of Rome wasn't built in a day, one day at a time. I have all these big visions and plans and ideas of what this is in the future. And he's like, just take it one day at a time. And so it was being okay with that, being okay with progress incrementally, and having boundaries in terms of, you know, it's easy to get wrapped up in working 18 hours a day. I've done it. I'm guilty. I will work 18 hours a day. If I could, I'd work 24. If I didn't need sleep, I would do that.
You love what you do.
I do. And I love to work. I love to feel accomplished and like I've been a productive member of society. That's really important to me. Also being okay with turning it off and dedicating time. Like I created this business so that I had more autonomy, so that I could, you know, if my son was doing muffins with mom on this week, he's doing muffins with mom. I have autonomy over my schedule to pencil some time on my calendar and dedicate that time to being there for muffins and mom. Reminding myself why I created this as well for myself, not just for what I'm also doing for moms or doing for parents and doing for children, but also what I'm doing as a mom myself and being okay with shutting it off and taking that time and being really intentional about the time that I do have with my kids. Because what's most important is quality over quantity. If I'm spending 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with my kids, but I am overwhelmed, short-fused, and frustrated and burnt out, I am not going to be a pleasant mom. But if I am fulfilled and I am spending quality time with my children, then I am an engaged, more present, quality mom than I am on the latter. Not to say that the moms that do it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week aren't good, checked in, quality moms, because in my opinion, those are unicorns. Those moms are unicorns and I applaud them. It's just not me. And it's okay not to be that unicorn mom. It's okay to say, I'm a mom that wants to have an identity outside of motherhood. And that doesn't make me less of a mom. That just makes me a more intentional mom that also loves myself enough to create boundaries.
If you like the content of this video, please don't forget to follow. And also, if you want more information, visit the website, yogipateltte.com.